As COVID-19 cases increase more and more, locations around the world are mandating wearing face masks in public. But a small group of people, including some Christians, are rebelling against this mandate. Some of the arguments I've heard in opposition to wearing face masks is that they're ineffective at protecting people from COVID-19. They're bad for you because they breed bacteria, which can make you sick. The mask mandate is a plot from the government to take away your rights and freedoms, and the mask mandate is conditioning us for the mark of the beast. Hence, the title of this video, The Mask of the Beast. I'm going to be addressing these objections and more, along with talking about how Christians should react to the face mask mandate in this video. But before I do that, I want to thank Unlocking Bible Prophecies for sponsoring this video. Unlocking Bible Prophecies is a Christian YouTube channel hosted by Cami Ootman. Unlocking Bible Prophecies is dedicated to producing Christian videos with pure, straightforward Bible truths, including end-time prophecies, to prepare you for the second coming of Jesus. Some of the videos that you will find on Unlocking Bible Prophecies include 3 end-time warnings from the book of Revelation that bring hope, the 10 Commandments, a guide to purposeful daily living, and the second coming of Jesus, the signs that show us it is coming soon. Click on the card in the upper right-hand corner of the screen or the link in the video description to subscribe to Unlocking Bible Prophecies today. Back to the Mask of the Beast. Before I get to the face mask mandate being a setup for the mark of the beast, I want to address some claims being repeated about wearing face masks, starting with they are ineffective. I created a post on my Facebook page and community tab here on YouTube asking people what they think about face mask mandates. And one reply I got from several people is that masks are ineffective at protecting people against COVID-19. However, this is simply not true. A YouTube video entitled How Well Do Masks Work? Schlieren Imaging in Slow Motion by It's Okay to Be Smart shows how far air and viral particles travel when someone sneezes wearing a mask compared to not wearing a mask, and it's a significant difference. In the video, they also talked about a microbiologist who sneezed, sang, talked, and coughed over petri dishes, once wearing a mask and once not wearing a mask, and a simple mask stopped nearly all of his germs from getting onto the petri dishes. So do face masks help decrease the spread of COVID-19? Absolutely. Another objection which a few people left on my online posts was that masks are unhealthy because they breed bacteria. Warm, moist environments, like the inside of a mask, are a breeding ground for bacteria. There's no doubt about that. An online post entitled, Is Your Mask a Breeding Ground for Bacteria? We Chat to an Expert by clicks.co.za explains that the buildup of bacteria in your mask may result in something called acne, which is a type of acne that appears on your face under your mask. I actually know someone who had this happen to her. She's a school teacher and was wearing the same mask all day, which apparently is not a good idea. But there's some simple solutions for this, like don't wear your mask for long periods of time. Try using 2 or 3 cloth masks throughout the day, which you can clean after they're used up, or use disposable masks, which you can throw away after you're done with them. I prefer using cloth masks because they create less waste, and I personally have 2 masks myself. And when they get dirty, my wife just throws them in with the laundry, and they're good as new. Back to my online post about face masks. A couple of people tell me they don't wear a face mask because they think it's a lack of faith. Apparently, they trust in God to protect them against COVID-19, and wearing a face mask demonstrates a lack of faith in God's protection. Now, the Bible does have some promises that offer protection against diseases. For example, Exodus chapter 23 verse 25 says, So you shall serve the Lord your God, and he will bless your bread and your water, and I will take sickness away from the midst of you. But biblical principles like that don't apply when we deliberately put ourselves in harm's way. Like when the devil tried to get Jesus to jump off the pinnacle of the temple in Matthew chapter 4 verses 5 through 7, which says, "Then the devil took him up into the holy city, set him on the pinnacle of the temple, and said to him, 'If you are the Son of God, throw yourself down, for it is written, He shall give His angels charge over you, and in their hands they shall bear you up, lest you dash your foot against a stone.'" This is actually a quote from Psalm chapter 91 verses 11 through 12. The devil was quoting the Bible here. Jesus said to him, "It is written again, you shall not tempt the Lord your God." Jesus knew that God would protect him, but only if he didn't deliberately put himself in harm's way by jumping off of the temple. The same is true of the coronavirus. God can protect us from it, but if we deliberately put ourselves in harm's way by not taking proper precautions, like wearing a face mask, we are tempting the Lord. And that is not faith. That is presumption. That is assuming that God will do something for us that He has not promised to do. One theory about face mask mandates is that they are part of a conspiracy, including the release of COVID-19 into the population by global elites and politicians in order to gain more control over us by getting us to forfeit our rights. But this is really nothing more than an unfounded conspiracy theory. And it doesn't make sense considering many politicians have contracted COVID-19 themselves, including the United States President, Donald Trump, the Prime Minister of the UK, Boris Johnson, the President of Brazil, Jair Bolsonaro, and the presidents of Bolivia, Guatemala, and Honduras, to name a few. Some politicians have died after contracting the coronavirus. Former Nashville Council member Tony Tenpenny died of the coronavirus, and so did David Cook, the former Belfast Lord Mayor, and the former President of India, Pranab Mukherjee, to name a few. So the question is, why would global elites release a virus into the population that would put their own lives at risk to gain more control over us? They can't gain more control over us if they're dead, so that doesn't make sense. Face mask mandates are not meant to gain more control over us. They're meant to get COVID-19 under control because cases continue to rise in many places around the world. And wearing face masks, along with washing your hands and keeping your distance, are ways to decrease coronavirus transmissions. Now, in terms of face masks being a setup for the mark of the beast, I don't think we are intentionally being conditioned by the elites or something like that to receive the mark of the beast by face mask mandates. However, I don't think it's beyond the ability of Satan to inspire unwitting men to pass laws that may even seem good considering our current situation to condition people to receive the mark of the beast. Some people have compared the fact that you can't enter many places of business without a face mask to Revelation chapter 13 verse 17, which says, "And that no one may buy or sell except one who has the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name." And it's interesting to see the extent to which people will go to be able to buy or sell. If pressured, they will put on a face mask so that they can continue to shop or conduct business. And I have no doubt that many of these same people will also accept the mark of the beast if pressured to, for the same reason, so they can continue to buy and sell. So maybe this is a trial run inspired by the devil to see how people will react when mandates are passed restricting buying and selling. This doesn't mean that we should refuse to put on face masks, though, especially for those of us who know what the mark of the beast is. The majority of the world may not know what the mark of the beast is, and they may be getting conditioned for it. But for those of us who are not ignorant of Satan's devices, I don't think we should be concerned about face masks. Now for a few reasons why I think Christians shouldn't reject face mask mandates. The Bible tells us to submit to the government. Romans chapter 13 verses 1 through 2 says, "Let every soul be subject to the governing authorities, for there is no authority except from God, and the authorities that exist are appointed by God. Therefore, whoever resists the authority resists the ordinance of God, and those who resist will bring judgment on themselves. If the government tells us to do something which doesn't violate God's will, it is our Christian duty to obey. And wearing a face mask does not violate the word of God. If we reject the government's rules, like wearing a face mask during the COVID-19 pandemic, it is as if we are rejecting an ordinance of God. It is an act of defiance and disobedience to God. If we do this, Romans tells us we will bring judgment on ourselves. We will be held accountable for this by God. Also, if we reject government mandates, which are not against our faith, it makes us look like we are anti-government. And Christians shouldn't give people the impression we are anti-government. It damages our witness. We should do our best to be blameless, law-abiding citizens. And that reminds me, you know who the original rebel of the universe is, right? It's Satan. He rebelled against the government of God in heaven and tried to overthrow God. That's why he was expelled from heaven. And people who rebel against the government here on earth manifest that same spirit. Ephesians chapter 2 verses 1 through 2 says, "And you he," talking about God, "made alive, who were dead in trespasses and sins, in which you once walked according to the course of this world, according to the prince of the power of the air," in other words, Satan, "the spirit who now works in the sons of disobedience." Now, there may be some instances when we need to reject mandates or laws of the government, and that is when they conflict with our duty to God. Acts chapter 5 verse 29 says, "But Peter and the other apostles answered and said, 'We ought to obey God rather than men.' But right now is not that time. Wearing a face mask is not a violation of our faith." When the mark of the beast is enforced, we will have plenty of opportunity to rebel against the government, for conscience sake. One more thing, refusing the face mask mandate also divides us as a church. Even in my church, there are some people who refuse to wear a face mask for some of the reasons that I stated earlier, and that leads to division in the church. This is contrary to the will of God. 1 Corinthians chapter 1 verse 10 says, "Now I plead with you, brethren, by the name of our Lord Jesus Christ, that you all speak the same thing, and that there be no divisions among you, but that you be perfectly joined together in the same mind and in the same judgment." Now, my church officially encourages wearing face masks during our worship service and in general because it is a mandate of the government and to be safe. But we have a few members of our church that refuse to wear face masks, and I wonder how that looks to someone from the outside. Imagine going to a church where, behind the pulpit, they tell you to be safe and wear your mask, and then some random member of the church sits next to you and tells you to take off your mask because the coronavirus is a hoax or something. I actually heard of that happening. You might not want to come back to that church again. Learn more about the Bible by signing up for a free Bible study course at AmazingBibleStudies.com. AmazingBibleStudies.com has 2 courses you can enroll in. The first one is called Storacles of Prophecy, and this course consists of 24 lessons that use the stories of the Bible to reveal prophetic Bible truths. The second course is called Bible Answers, and this course contains 27 easy-to-understand study guides based on different subjects of the Bible. Click on the link in the video description to enroll in one of the free Bible study courses from AmazingBibleStudies.com today. Face masks offer proven protection against COVID-19. While it's true that bacteria can breed inside face masks, that can be solved by replacing your mask on a regular basis. Wearing a face mask is not a sign that you lack faith in God's protection. God doesn't protect those who deliberately put themselves in harm's way. And mandates for wearing face masks are not contrary to our faith. As a matter of fact, rejecting those mandates can do more harm than good because they make us look anti-government and cause division in the church. The time will come for us to reject government decrees, but now is not that time. When the mark of the beast is enforced, we will have plenty of opportunity for that. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new and click the bell so you don't miss any of my future uploads. Click on the screen to check out my video about the mark of the beast. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to like it and share it. Thank you for watching, and God bless you.